Hello, everybody. I would like to introduce Xiaolu Liu. She is a PhD student at Chinese Agricultural University. Her research interests concern agricultural trade and food economics. She has participated in numerous domestic and international academic conferences, and she's publishing some papers. She has several research projects that are under review, and we look forward to hearing her presentation on the analysis of the impact of domestic trade costs on the dietary quality of Chinese residents. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Xiaolu Liu, and I'm from China Agricultural University. It's my honor to stand here to share my thesis with you. I hope you can criticize and correct my paper and help me to make it better. So the title of my paper is an analysis of the impact of domestic trade costs on the dietary quality of Chinese residents. First of all, I would like to introduce the research background of this paper. With the development of economy, Chinese residents' dietary structure has undergone a great change. The most significant change is that with the increase of income level, people tend to consume animal food more, and especially tend to consume animal meat. Fish and other aquatic food intake is less. Consumption of plant foods, especially cereals and vegetables, declined, while intake of fruits, dairy, whole grains, and soybeans remained low. There are certain differences in the consumption of various kinds of food among urban and rural residents in China. The consumption of meat, poultry, eggs, milk, aquatic products, vegetables, and fruits by urban residents is higher than that in rural areas. And the consumption of eggs, milk, aquatic products, and fruits is about twice of rural residents. The cost of domestic trade in China remains at a relatively high level. Although there are no tariff barriers between regions within a country, factors such as differences in the level of economic development, transportation infrastructure, product safety standards, and local preferences for government and corporate procurement can increase the cost of trade between regions. The proportion of domestic trade in each region is higher than that of international trade, and the proportion of intra-regional trade is higher than that of inter-regional trade. The higher domestic trade costs and serious market segmentation are not conducive to exerting the scale effect of the domestic market. This is a supplementary note about how we construct the domestic trade cost. In summary, it is mainly calculated based on input-output method and refers to NOVI 2013 model for calculating trade costs. Since time is limited, I will not go into details. Welcome to discuss with me after this presentation. Next, I will introduce the theoretical conduction relationship between the explained variable and the core explanatory variable in this paper. In China, intra-provincial and inter-provincial trade flow is an indispensable factor affecting the food availability of residents. It is increasingly critical to explore the impact of inter-provincial trade costs on residents' health welfare. On the basis of estimating the domestic trade costs in China, this paper empirically studies the impact of changes in domestic trade costs on residents' dietary health and identifies the role of income and market score index in the impact of domestic trade cost on Chinese residents' food consumption behavior. Before introducing the empirical regression results in this paper, I would like to first introduce the data sources, variable selection, and empirical methods used in this paper. The main database we use in this paper are CHNS database and China Regional Input-Output Table, and the explained variable is Healthy Eating Index and the amount of food consumed by each type. The core explanatory variable is domestic trade cost. Control variables include gender, age, ethnicity, educational attainment, household size, income, market score, level of transport development, level of development of services, changes in education and income levels, and the level of sanitation facilities. The model we used is fixed effect model. So we come to the construction of a healthy eating index. We draw on the analytical framework of Li 2020 to construct HEI index. The specific HEI indicators are shown in Table 1. In our study, 20 indicators were selected, with each indicator having a minimum score of 0 and a maximum score of 5. The calculation of each indicator was scaled to form the individual's dietary health score. HEI index is between 0 and 100, and a total HES score of less than 50 is defined as poor dietary health, and 50 to 80 as dietary health to be improved, and more than 80 as good dietary health. Based on previous theoretical analysis and variable methods, the following model was established as follows. And this is the variable description. So we come to the baseline regression. The results show that the domestic trade costs have a negative impact on the consumption quantity of whole grain and mixed beans, vegetables, fruit, eggs, aquatic products, and milk. That is, the increase of domestic trade cost will bring the decrease of food consumption quantity. But the rising cost of domestic trade has further increased meat consumption. This is not conducive to improving the current situation of excessive meat consumption and unbalanced food consumption structure of Chinese residents. And we found that the domestic trade costs have a negative impact on the residents' dietary quality score and is significant at the level of 1%. This suggests that reducing the domestic trade cost is conducive to improving the level of dietary quality of residents. We perform robustness tests in 4 ways. Column 1 calculate domestic trade costs using the price index method, which is based on expert cost model of Samuelson. Since the core explanatory variable used in this study is the industry-wide domestic trade cost, there may be a long transmission chain between it and residents' debt. So we further calculate the domestic trade cost of agricultural industry and put it into regression as a core explanatory variable. The results are shown in column 2. Column 3 lists the estimated results using the random effect model. Column 4 lists the regression results using a one-stage lag of the core explanatory variables, which also verifies the robustness of the results. Next, we perform heterogeneity analysis. We found that reducing domestic trade costs will promote the increase of food consumption and the improvement of dietary quality of both rural residents and urban residents. The same holds true for residents of all income levels and residents of all ages. Heterogeneity results show that the negative impact of domestic trade costs on the dietary quality of residents in urban areas is smaller than that of in rural areas. The negative impact of domestic trade costs on dietary quality of residents decreases by 0.008 for each level of increase in resident income. The dietary quality of residents of different ages is not significantly affected by domestic trade cost. And in order to solve the possible endogeneity problem and further verifies the relation between domestic trade cost and residents' dietary quality, we draw on the research of Jin 2021 and employ an instrumental variable approach to complement the baseline specification. We use the average river density and the river density of provisional capitals, multiplying the Sino-US exchange rate as instrumental variables, respectively, and took the dietary quality score before and after logarithm as explained variables for regression. Finally, we found highly consistent results. Next, we want to test both mechanisms of income and market score. The three models examine the moderating effects of income, traditional market scores, and modern market scores on the relationship between domestic trade cost and the dietary health level of the population. We found that the rising cost of domestic trade, mainly by increasing the supply of energy and high oil content of non-traditional food to affect residents' food consumption, and the domestic trade costs have a higher negative impact on the dietary quality of rural residents, low-income residents, and residents of high age. So we come to the conclusion. First, increasing domestic trade costs will reduce the consumption of whole grains, beans, vegetables, fruits, and aquatic products, increasing the consumption of livestock and poultry meat, further increase the consumption of animal food, aggravate the imbalance of dietary structure, and decrease the level of dietary diversity of residents. Second, the rising cost of domestic trade, mainly by increasing the supply of energy and high oil content of non-traditional food to affect residents' food consumption. And third, the domestic trade costs have a higher negative impact on the dietary quality of rural residents, low-income residents, and residents of high age. So that's all of my report. Thanks for listening.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time today, and thank you for being a part of the virtual symposium.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.